More now from our conversation with New Jersey Governor Christie. We sat down with him at the New Hope Baptist Church in Newark, where he hosted an event on drug addiction and rehab. Instead of a war on drugs, the governor says we need to approach this crisis with compassion. Is it ironic or is it a coincidence that we're having this panel in the church, Whitney Houston's church, who died of a drug overdose?
It's no coincidence because you can't judge a person just by their disease. She is an extraordinary New Jerseyan with her weaknesses, with her flaws, and we need to honor those people, and we do not need to judge them.
But let's talk about the word disease. The point you're making is that it can happen anywhere to anybody, and it is a disease.
There's no question it can happen to anyone. Any family, no matter your education, your economic background, your race, your religion, suburbs. And so we need to give those people the tools and treat it as a disease. We're not helping our society by just locking people up.
And the war on drugs, you're saying, is not working. In fact, you've called it a dismal failure.
It is. It is a dismal failure. It was well-intentioned. It was absolutely well-intentioned. But we now know, after 30-plus years of it, that it hasn't worked. We know what works. It's not like we're walking around in a dark room. We know that treatment works. We want to give people the tools to try to save their lives. We're not going to save every life, but we got to try.
Is Christie softening?
No, Christie is who he's always been. The fact is that I absolutely believe, I'm pro-life, Gayle, and I believe that every life is precious at every stage of life. We can't just be worried about them in the womb. We got to be worried about them when they come out of the womb. And when they're on the floor of a jail cell, it's a lot messier to be pro-life then.
But there have been headlines, Governor, about you. I think I saw compassionate conservative, that Christie is still who he is, but there is a softer edge to him, that he's not going to necessarily take your head off because he disagrees with something that you've said.
I never did.
Oh, there were a couple of times I thought people were walking around with no heads.
Well, sure, and you know what? Those people deserve to have their heads taken off, and I'll still do that when I need to. But I don't just have one club in the bag for the golfers who are watching this, okay?
Yes.
You have to understand as a leader that there are times where you have to be tough and direct, and times where you have to be softer and listen. And I can do both.
There is speculation, though, that you're laying the groundwork to prepare for 2016.
Yeah, no, well, for the people who really know me, they know this is who I've been all along.
What is going into your decision-making process as to whether you will or won't run for 2016?
Is it right for me? Is it right for my family? And is it right for the country? If I answer all three of those yes, I'll run. If I answer any one of them no, I won't. That's it.
It really is that simple.
It's that simple.
And I have to say, you look fantastic. Could I just ask you, do you feel as good as you look?
Not yet.
You don't?
Not yet, but I hope to. I mean, listen, I feel much better than I used to feel.
No, I can tell.
But the fact is that, you know, I still have some work to do in that area too. And so I'm just going to keep working at it.
No, somebody said the other day you were in a room and you said you've lost 85 pounds. You said, that's not true. I'm not talking about how much weight I've lost.
That's right. I never said that.
Listen, you're talking to somebody that has clothes sizes in her closet, 3 different sizes. So listen,
only 3?
Only 3.
Well, you're better than me.
No, so I know I so know this struggle. So can you say how much more you'd like to lose, or when will you be satisfied with how you look?
I'll know when I'll be satisfied, and so will Mary Pat. Yeah. And those are the only 2 people that really matter in all this, right?
We're hung up on the numbers,
yeah,
Governor.
I'm not going to be. I had a guy just the other day, and he was significantly overweight, and he was talking to me about it. We were walking down the stairs, and he said, so come on, tell me how much weight have you lost? And I said, a lot. And he said to me, no, I mean, exactly how much? And I said, a lot. And he said, why won't you tell me? And I said, because it's none of your business, right? And so
But see, you're even saying that differently. Before you would have said, it's none of your business. But you go, it's none of your business.
Well, and that stuff I try to be. Listen, I try to be, like I said, number of clubs in the bag, Gayle.
Yes.
You know, when you're talking to a guy who's struggling with the same issue you've struggled with,
yes,
you don't need to yell at him.
No.
But you're talking to some person in the audience who is saying things that are untrue about you, then you treat him a little bit differently.
Nice interview.
He is always so smooth. And I mean, he's clearly very comfortable in his own skin about everything that he's discussing. And he said, there's no reason, I will announce when I'm ready. You never expect a different answer. You know what they're going to say, but you always think, maybe today is a day.
But why is this issue of drugs and addiction so near and dear to his heart?
Well, he talked about that too, Nora, very candidly. He lost a very good friend. He said a friend that was top of his class in law school, that he overdosed. And, you know, you have to put a different face on what a drug abuser looks like. And he's trying to do that. that. You know, he's been working on this for a long time.
It had been part of
And
his appeal on the
that's
one
right.
hand. It shows the sensitivity and
That's right. He's got all of that. All of that.